Dear students, welcome to the knowledge series. We will be discussing on McLaupitz's neural model. Now, what exactly the McLaupitz neural model means? The early model of the artificial neuron, this was introduced by Warren McLaw and Walter Pitts way back in the year 1943. And this particular model is known as a linear threshold model. Now, to understand this one, there are certain points which I just want to share with respect to this particular McLaupitz model. Is that here, if you try to see this figure, in this one, input is being shown here, I1 to In, weight W1 to Wn, sum, bias is not shown here, and after summing up, it is being compared with the threshold functions or activation functions to see that output is being generated. Now, when in the year 1943, when this paper was proposed, it was basically an idea to implement the nervous activities, where the activities was based on adjustment of the weights. That means this weight was needed to adjust, as they were knowing that weight is not a constant. You have seen my previous slide with respect to the learning methods, supervisory, unsupervisory, and reinforcement learning, where the learning, when we keep on improving, the weight is automatically get adjusted. So the first mathematical model of a single biological neuron, it was developed in 1940 and published in 1943. Was later known as MP neurons or McLaupitz neuron. And one thing you have to understand that MP neuron is basically a binary, and this model is simple because it does not requires learning or adaptations. Based on the firing of the activation function, whether it is a 1 or 0, accordingly the network will produce the output by comparing the threshold values. Moreover, neurons are connected with the weights here. You can see, and since if this weights, whenever we try to see that, if the weight is positive, then we termed it as excitatory, and if it is a negative weight, it is inhibitory weight. So that is the things. Excitatory means excitation. Inhibitory means it prevent from prevent an actions. So opposite to the excitatory conditions. That it means. If you see the bottom figure, and this is what I have shown over here, is that input x1 to x4, or you can take it as x1 to xn weight is there. Or you can take x1 and x2 having a weight wk1, wk2 with the excitatory weight w, and x3 and x4 with the weight wk3 and wk4 with having a inhibitory weight minus p. So this is being summed together by product of x1 and weight, x2 and weight, x3 and weight, x4 and weight, and this, when it is summed together, it is being added to the bias, and this bias is going to produce a net weight, and that net weight is being compared with the activation functions. Wherever the activation functions, whenever it is compared, that y net is greater than equal to theta, it is going to produce 1, otherwise it is going to produce 0. So that is what being so that is what being termed here. Now here, if you see this one further, there is a statement I have put it like this one. Theta is a threshold value. A condition of the activation functions. when there is no firing. That means if the firing conditions, that is a if it is absolute inhibition condition, when there is no firing, so that is a theta greater than NW minus P. That is the conditional representations if there is no firing, if theta is greater than NW minus P. Now what is NW? NW is the net weight, that is the net excitatory weight conditions with respect to the excitations conditions, and P is nothing but with respect to the inhibitory conditions. Now under these particular conditions, if you try to see this here, n is n is nothing but a number of inputs, that is x1, x2, x8. W is nothing but a weights is being, and P is nothing but inhibitory conditions. So if this is coming negatives, so no firing. If it is if it is coming very inhibitory condition NW minus P a condition, if it is negative or a positive, it will determine the firing situations. Now output will fire if it receives a K and the more excitatory input but no inhibitory input where. So we are taking a conditions here is that we are writing a K. K is a firing constant. So if the firing constant into W, if it is greater than theta, is greater than K minus 1 of W. So that is the case representation with respect to the firing constant. So here K is nothing, KW is the situations with respect to the excitatory conditions. This is nothing but with respect to inhibitory conditions. So if this conditions prevails, there will be no firing. If this condition prevails, there will be a firing in this case. So that's why if this particular conditions is existing, assume that this is existing. So if it is a negative case, then it will not be firing. But if it is a positive case, then it will be greater than theta, then the firing case will exist. So that is what here with respect to these functions and these functions is being shown. Now MP neuron has no particular training algorithm. It is based on the weight and the threshold theta. So here why it is no particular training algorithm, because here we are not you are not finding any case with respect to the weight adjustment. No feedback system is there, so weight is not adjustments. You are setting up one weight, and based on that you are producing an output. Now here an analysis is the weight of a neuron are set along the threshold to make a neuron perform in a simple logical functions. So it's a straightforward. You give an input and you deliver the output. Now here are some steps been written for McLaupitz's functions, how it has to solve. Now first to solve these functions, first the output truth table of a function is being created. First, for any logical condition, first you are creating a truth table for the output for the functions, where output y is being defined. And here you are assuming a weight as an excitatory condition, and you are finding out y in. And then you are checking the sum of y in with this y in with this y in the truth table. And if the firing has a two partition, if it is okay, then calculated theta. That means once you are checking the sum of y in and y in the truth table, then you are finding where the possibility of the firing partitions. So in the third case, firing partitions means that means what are the possibility exist under the conditions with respect to the y case, and as far as this y in conditions with respect to the truth table. Now here theta you are going to calculate based on the number of inputs and its weight and the inhibitory conditions or inhibitory weight, that is you are taken into considerations, and you are finding out this theta. Now, fourth step is that if y in and y is not able to partition and show more than two decision, then change the weight by excitatory and inhibitory. That means here, if you are in the fourth conditions, once you are finding the theta value, if that theta value is not able to adjust, then you try to select the different weight value and try to see that you are getting a condition to have a clear partitions between the desired output with respect to the given input, because you have to understand that in this particular point of a learning there is no feedback, so you have to make a decision between yes or no. So that's why this particular change the weight by in the excitatory and inhibitory. Repeat the 3 and 4 and find the theta, and once your theta is known, then straightforward you are knowing the y in greater than theta, less than equal to theta, and you find the output. So these are the steps that is being followed to solve these examples. So we'll see some of the examples to understand that how are the stages is being followed. So what is the first stage? First stage we are writing the truth table, and the second stage we are finding out the y in, and after finding out the y in, check whether this y in and this y, and from that y in and y in the truth table is whether we can make a clear demarcations between the the list out values in a equal two partitions. If it is okay, then we can calculate the theta, and based on that theta, if there is a error, is there either we can go for adjustment. If it is no adjustment is needed, then based on that theta we can directly take a y in and greater than theta and less than theta we can try to decide, and thereby the output y we can able to find out. So here some example is being shown here. Now let us take a AND examples. Now as per the AND examples, here x1, x2 and y is being shown. This is AND example 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. So this is the first stage. What is our first stage? First stage is to find the value of y. So that is the first stage is to create a truth table. The truth table is created. Now next is what we are going to find the y in. Now y in is this is our given network. x1 is given, x2 is given, weight is given 1, 1, and we have been taken y as the output. So here we are trying to find out with respect to the case. Now we take a 0, 0, 0 and 0. So here we will be getting the output as y as 0. If you are taking 1, 1, we are getting the 0 and 1 you are taking, then 1 will become 0, another is 1, so you are getting 1. 1, 0, you are getting 1. When you are taking 1, 1, you will be getting 2. So here you try to see that you can make a partition. Partitioning means or separations. That means your output you can able to create a condition, logical conditions by finding two possibilities. One is if you are having a zeros, that is one class, and the other class is a 1. So if you can make that, if the input is 1, 1, then you are going to get a 1, and for all other class it is a 0. So you can make a clear demarcations that this particular case is resultants of the AND gate. So if you want to that is what it means. So third point we have reached, the y in is we have calculated from the second stage, and then try to see that with respect to the actual truth table, if the conditions sees that if your theta value is, if you are getting a theta value which is y in is greater than 2, then we can take it as 1, less than 2 we can consider it as all other conditions of related to the 0. So here we take a case with respect to n is equal to 2. So we are having a 2 input, n is equal to 2. weight is equal to say 1, because we are having excitatory case with respect to 1, no partitioning case, so inhibitory case is 0, so you will be getting 2 into 1, that is 2 minus 0, so that is theta is equal to 2. So that is what I have written, theta is equal to 2. So what is our y in here? If y in is greater than equal to 2, greater than equal to 2, I can, if y in is, what is y in? This is our y. If y in is greater than or equal to 2, that is equal to 1. And if y in is less than 2, all other are 0. So that is what I mean to say. So here we have put it, if x1 and x2 is equal to 1, x1 and x2 is equal to 1, then y in is equal to 2, and if f of y in is equal to 1, because y in greater than 2, we have taken that activation functions logical condition as 1, and if 1, 0 or all other conditions, y in is equal to 1 or 0, f of y in is considered as 0 because it is less than 2. So anything greater than, anything equal to 2 is 1, anything less than 2 is equal to 0. So that means you can see that this is the truth table. This is the representation of network architecture of AND gate, and from here we try to find out the y in, and from here we try to create a network separations, and based on that one we are to meet this one, we have find out the value of theta, that is nothing but our fourth steps, and once we find out the fourth steps, in the fifth step is basically we have not needed, so but fifth step we have written it because it satisfies the condition, and in the sixth step we have executed that one and find the value of 1. So this is our sixth step that satisfies these conditions. So this is how 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a part of it. So that is the sixth is supporting for this. This how we concluded the AND gate. Similarly, you can go for the OR gate. OR gate also you create the truth table. You are having a network here, and from here you find the y in, and in this case, what condition is that you are getting the case with respect. If suppose you are taking a 2 as the weight, then you are getting 2 here, and the y in will become 4 here in the 1 1. Or if you are taking 1 1 here, this will become 1 and this is 2. That means anything greater than 1 or greater than equal to 1 is considered as 1, otherwise equal to 0. So that is how you are putting in the third case, and in the fourth case, and in the fifth case. So that's how, if you are taking 2, so anything greater than equal to 2 is considered as 1, otherwise it is equal to 0. Now coming to the NOT gate, the third case with respect to the NOT conditions. Now if you go to the NOT condition, here also you try to see this one. The first case is the truth table you have created, x and y, 0, 1, 1, 0. And we are giving to our network architecture is nothing but NOT gate is x1 is input is given, and you are producing a y output. That means if you are giving input here 1, it is going to produce 0, and if you are giving 0, it is producing 1. In this way, the network is being taken into considerations. Now here the fourth case we can try to take into consideration, since it is a one network and one weight, p is equal to 0, so theta is equal to 1. So theta, anything greater than equal to 1 is equal to, we are taking into consideration as 0, and when it is anything less than 1, we are considering it as 1. So that's how we are able to generate the two logical conditions. Here you have to observe is that the logical condition as compared to the previous two, OR gate and AND gate, what we have seen, there we have taken the condition this one equal to 1, but here we have taken the logical condition in a reverse way. So that is how only you have to take into considerations. Now next is the NAND gate. In the NAND gate, case, when you are taking into considerations, you have to take into considerations exactly just like AND plus NOT gate. So that is the case with AND and NOT gate together. So that is how we have to take into considerations with respect. Now it is opposite to the AND gate. So here the logical condition says how it is going to come. Whenever it is greater, it is 0. Whenever it is less than, it is equal to 1. That is what I mean to just like a NOT gate, and NOT operations. Now coming to the NOR gate. NOR gate is the condition is that it is just like the opposite to the OR gate. So here also if you try to see this one is that anything greater than 1, 0, anything less than 1, 0. So two table you created, architecture you created, then you make the y and y in, compare it, then you try to find the theta, then from there you try to find the f in there. That's how you can able to create. So it is exactly like the first what we discussed. Now this is a very important one. Normally it appears in the AND NOT. AND NOT is not an AND gate. It is a first AND operation and then followed by a NOT operations. You have to take into considerations. So AND x1 and not x2. So that is x1 x2 bar. So you have to take x1 and x2. Its bar is coming. So here we have taken a 2 gate. Is the one is 2 we have taken and 1. That is one excitatory condition is taken in the inhibitory conditions minus 1. So 2 table is coming 0 0, and here middle is 1 and then 0. So when we taken a 2 and minus 1, so we are under that particular conditions we will be seeing the condition is that here we are getting 0 0. So 0 both 0, so your output will be 0. If it is a 0 and 1, so you will be getting minus 1. If it is a 1 0, we will be getting 2, and if it is a 1 1, then under that 1 1, then it will be 2 minus 1. So here it is going to be 1. So under these conditions, your case is this one. That means you have to take into considerations is that how you are going to solve in this particular situation. Now here if you see that anything which is greater than equal to 2, it is considered as 1. Anything less than equal to 2, whether it is a 1 or a minus 1 or 0, all are going to become 0. So or here I have mentioned it is as greater than 1. That means greater than 1 is 2. So and anything less than equal to 1. So less than equal to 1 means it may be 1 or it may be minus 1 or 0. All these conditions is going to become 0. So this is the next case with respect to the AND OR situations. Now coming to the next point is that the XOR gate. When you try to see the XOR gate conditions, now here this is a more important one where you try to see that XOR situations is the case that your middle term is going to become 1, others are 0. 0 0 0 0 1 1 0 1 1. Now here middle term is there. Now how we are going to solve this one? This is a little tricky. Now here comes the your multi layers. So here the third layer is coming, which is the hidden layer. This is your input layer, this is your hidden layer, this is your output layer. Now what we are going to do is that now first we are taking an input, and here we are taken 2 2 excitatory condition, minus 1 1 1 inhibitory condition. So we have to take first, let us take this network first, x1 to this and x2 to this. So we will first solve with this one. How will we solve? First we will take the output Z, and then we apply the excitations. Here we will take this one, output Z and its excitations. After that we take this one, and this is the new weight. Then this weight is given to here, and this weight is this input is given to here, this input is given with the 2 weights. So here you are going to find the new output, no output, that is summation. Also you are coming plus excitations, activation functions. So these two things is coming. So here two places you are having activation functions, that is the hidden layer functions as well as the output layer functions. So that is how we are able to solve here. So the first part is done here, second part is done here, third part is what here? x1 is written here, x2 is written here. This is your output. Now here first A is what written here. That is the output set written here. Just like we are able to find the y in. So for this one, this is the y in. This for this case, this is the y in. So we have got these two y in conditions. Now what we are doing next? Now this y in has come, but it is not the final output. It is going to produce output after the activation functions. So we are given through the activation functions z. Now here we are taken into consideration is that 0 is 0, minus 1 you are considering as 0, 2 is 1, and 0 is 1. What does it exactly it indicates? Now if you try to see the case with respect to the previous case, let us take NOT functions. Here what we have done, AND NOT functions. Under these conditions, we have taken these conditions. If y in is less than equal to 1 is 0, if y in is greater than equal to 1 is 1. That is what here it means. If anything greater than equal to 1 is 1 and other condition is 0. That is what here it means. So we put it. And if you see here, this is opposite to this. So here what will come? How we are written? Here you see 0, 0, 2, 2, minus 1, minus 1, 1. So it is opposite conditions. So it is coming here. So we are writing opposite to this one. So what is this one? These two are the input. Input to what? Input to this y. So we put this input to y, and there how we are going to get a new y. So that is what we are getting 0, 1, 1, 0. Now this 0, 1, 1, 0, we have to create a activation functions. So what is the activation function? It is a straightforward. It is a straightforward means in this case you create a theta. What is theta? Theta value which is greater than equal to 1, and if it is less than 1, all are 0. So that is how we are able to create these activation functions here. Now we go to the next point on the knowledge linear separability. Now dear students, you have to understand that linear separability is one of the important discussions we have been talking about in the machine learning, because even in the if it is unsupervisory learning, there also we talk about this linear separability. If all these conditions, linearly separability conditions has to exist, otherwise we will not able to say that particular model is perfect. Otherwise it will be in a non-linear conditions. Now here you try to see this figure. A set is given, S1 set with a set of element, S2 set with a set of element, and both are in a two different space. If you can make a partitions or a decision lines between these two, it is separable. So under that conditions, we say term it as a linearly separable pattern. A non-linear separable pattern means S1 is here, S2 is here. So if these two are not separable, then it is termed as a non-linear separable pattern. So under this condition. So here we put it as a OR gate, AND gate, NAND gate, NOR gate. So this is a linearly separable case. And here this is a XOR situation. This is a non-linear separable situations. Now here we try to see the linearly separable. This is one collections. This is another collections. So this is a linearly separables. Non-linear separable, this is a non-linear pattern. You cannot separate it like this, but you have to apply multilayer functions to do a separation. That means you can separate it in this particular conditions. So this is needed a more techniques to employ for a non-linear condition under this condition. If it is inseparable situations, we have to look for a learning mechanism, like we talked about supervisory, unsupervisory, reinforcement. Then that is a different methods is there. Then different we talked about activation functions, sigmoidal activation function, then there is a ReLU activation functions is coming. So there are different activation function is coming that can able to take into consideration how it has to separate. Now this is another way of representing is that I have a truth table x1, x2 and y. 0, 0, 0, so I put it as a circle. 0, 1, I put it as a 1. No, it is 1, so I put it as a dark. Another 1, 0, I put as a dark. Another 1, 1, I put as a 0, so I put a circle. Now if you see this truth table, it is XOR truth table. Now in this particular XOR truth table, we cannot make a separations with the simple single layer neural network, because you cannot make a partition. If you do like this one, dark and circle is there. If you do like this one, same thing. You cannot do in any other form. So here comes the multi-layer network you have to put. Now single layer network or a single layer perceptron is you give an input and you produce an output, and you are having a such type of a blue is there and a red cross is there. Then you cannot do a simple this condition, you cannot do it here. Then you have to go for a hidden layer. So hidden layer you will be having a two partitioning in this case. So when you go for a multi-layer, you can have a separations like these representations. So single layer you cannot do. Hidden layer you can make a separations. This one on one side, this one on one side. So this is a one conditions. This two is a different condition. That is what we have seen in the our numerical problem with respect to the XOR conditions. When we apply, finally we got a condition that if x greater than equal to 1, we get this one, and other than x greater than equal to 1, we are getting these two conditions. And this is the multi-layer where we are creating the x separations in these forms. So that is and finally I am going to discuss the one of the concluding two problem. One is a simple neural network with the weight, as I have already discussed earlier in a different segment. You are having a input 0.3 with the weight 0.2. All these things are being taken together, added. That is the you are having x1, x2, this vector x1, x2, x3 in terms of this one. Weight vector is being represented here, and your y in is summation of this individual element to element you are taking, and you are getting the net resultants output. Now let us see this linear separable, what we discussed here in terms of this equation truth table. Here we are having a two input is given. This minus input you consider as 0. One is as plus 1, minus as 0. Based on this, you are getting an output y as all are 1 and this is 0. Now here this is if you are plotting in this particular forms, in the xy plot, we are getting a point is here is the minus 1 and 0, minus 1 and 0, that is this case, and 0 and minus 1 here. So and all other point which is represented in terms of a truth table, it is being put here, and we are getting a functional decision line in this particular order. So that is what being shown in this one. Using a linear separable, obtain the response OR functions. So this is OR function is being shown. So it is being asked whether it is being linearly separable or not. So here in the figure 10, that is in this graph, if the output is 1, it is denoted as plus, and if it is minus, else minus is related to the minus 1 or it is 0. So we are taking into considerations, assuming in the coordinate as minus 1, 0 and 0, minus 1. And we are taking into consideration the slope equations. That is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. That will give the slope y. So you are taking, let us assume this is x2, y2, x1, y1. So when you apply these functions, values, automatically you will be getting m is equal to minus 1. So we are writing this as a line equation as y is equal to mx plus c. So from here we are finding the value of c. y is y1 is you are knowing as 0, m you are got it from here -1, and what is your x1? X1 you are taking into considerations with respect to -1 here, this case. So here we are taking into we are substituting this value and we are getting this value as -1. Now once you are getting this value as -1, you put that one into mx plus c, and already you are creating this line equation y is equal to mx plus c. M is known to you, x is you are putting as a variable, and c is you are knowing to you -1. So you are getting this value y is equal to minus x minus 1. So that is the value of the equation of the line you are getting with respect to y is equal to x minus. Now here the quadrant are not x and y, xi and x1 and x2. So the above equations, how will you write y is not y is equal to x2 and other x is equal to x1. So x2 is equal to minus x1 minus 1, and this can be rewritten if you are carefully observe this one in terms of a line equation. X2 is equal to minus w1 by w2 x1 minus b1 b by w2 x2. So this is how we can rewrite these particular equations. Now if you compare these two equations, so here you will find that minus w1 by w2 is how much? It is equal to 1. B by w2 is how much? It is equal to 1. So you may be thinking that how is equal to y is equal to mx plus c. So you are from that equations you are creating this particular forms. So once you are knowing this particular terms, you are re-putting. Now what is exactly this particular this equation? This is nothing but your architecture based on the OR functions. Now here x1 x2 is there, your b you are taking as a bias as 1. So yn is equal to b plus x1 w plus x2 w2 is there. Now for every value of this one you are getting this one, and what is this value? This value is represented in these forms. So here if you try to visualize this particular equations, now in these particular equations you can see that anything above 1 it is considered as the 1 value, anything less than 1 it is considered as minus. So here is separations between the two. That means you are getting a separations. What under the case, anything greater than 1 you are getting as above case, anything less than 1 you are getting other. So you can make a line here. So what is this one? x1 x2 minus 1. You see here x1 x2 minus 1, and all other value it lies on the other side. You see this line separation is taken to the other side, so it is going to the other side of these equations. So that is what here you have to take into understand what exactly this line equations and how this line equations. So your line equations which is represented here, this is what is going to define give you derivations with respect to this particular terms for comparisons. And the two table you can directly create these two tables, because from here if your network, once you are knowing this, because in the OR gate what you normally do, in the OR gate you are straightway having a two values, x1 x2. This is the bias, this is straightforward. So you are getting these values and these values, and this is for your understanding of the coordinates, how these coordinates will be represented based on these equations. So this is how the line separation is being done. So with this I conclude here. Thank you.